Hello, welcome, fans, friends, Southeast Iowa. This is your man, Andy Kretzinger. I've got my friend Hunter M, a.k.a. Hunter Moeller, on the other Zoom link, if you can see his name. Peter on the ones and twos. And we have breaking news. Can someone give me a tune? Just kidding, I'll do it. In a resounding vote, Southeast Iowa Union Prep Sports Plus was given 4 more years to entertain the masses. A mandate to do whatever we want on this show. Good job, Hunter.
Congratulations.
Fought hard this year.
Congratulations.
And but you know who we couldn't have done it without, Hunter?
The people watching.
That's true. You know who else we couldn't have done
sponsors.
And our sponsors. Fairway Food Stores, the title sponsor of Prep Sports Plus. With us for like 2 years now. You see the commercials on the bottom. You recognize some of those businesses, the Unk and Neffs of the world, Capradas of the world. Been with us since day one. It's a special day. And straight up, I'm going to tell you guys right now, you could call this episode of Southeast Iowa Union Prep Sports Plus Mid-Prairie Sports Plus, because Mid-Prairie is going to take up about half of this show, because that was our final team, Hunter, in all 3 fall sports.
Yep, it really was.
Or our best finishing team in all 4.
One Mid-Prairie team is all that's left of this fall season.
And there's only 1 team left. And
Yep.
Hunter, you got to see these guys in the flesh with your very own eyes on Friday night. Mediapolis coming to town, the Battle of the M's. Tell us what happened.
Yeah, Mid-Prairie obviously looking to get to the quarterfinals. Obviously, that's like the definitely. I guess it's the second round of state where you still get like a participation trophy or whatever. I think if they would have lost this game, they get like the state participation trophy. But and then in the quarterfinals, you get a quarterfinal trophy if you lose, and then if you win the quarterfinals, you get to the semifinals, obviously, and that's at the Dome, the Uni Dome there in Waterloo or Cedar Falls. But Mid-Prairie taking on Mediapolis for the second time this season. Obviously, it was a pretty close game for about a half. The first time these two teams met, Mid-Prairie did end up pulling out the win in that one. I believe it was 26-8 or 24-8. I don't have the final exactly right in front of me right now, but
yeah, it was 24-8. I know the answer to that trivia question.
But Mid-Prairie gets it done again. Does it in pretty dominating fashion. 35-14 was the final in this one, and really, both teams it was kind of the tale of 2 halves, if you will. First half, both teams were kind of scoring in bunches, and the second half was pretty defensive. But on the Mid-Prairie's first possession, Hudson Ehrenfeld broke free for a massive touchdown. The Golden Hawks covered 65 yards on that first drive, but Ehrenfeld had 55 yards of them on a 55-yard touchdown, opened the scoring for them. Obviously, he's their leading back. We've seen success from him pretty much the last 2 years. He's been a great runner for them, one of probably the best runners that we cover for sure. But Mediapolis followed up with a lengthy drive and capped that off with a 10-yard a touchdown pass from Reese Campbell to Gannon Gunn to tie the game at 7s. But not for long, as Brady Weber, Mid-Prairie quarterback, hit a streaking Caden Koss for the longest touchdown of the night, 83 yards. Koss took it to the house, make it 14-7. And then kind of the Mid-Prairie defense started to pick up after that. On the ensuing kickoff, Ryan Henry punched the ball out from Mediapolis' Noah Schmigel, and Shea Myers was able to get on top of it to give the Golden Hawks back the ball. And they score again. This time, an 8-play drive ended with a 13-yard. Wait, what am I writing here? 18. Okay, so they recovered the ball deep in Mediapolis territory. I was messing up what what I wrote down here, but I was just reading it wrong. But they ran 8 plays. Mediapolis made them work for it. They ran 8 plays, covered 13 yards of ground. So I mean, Mediapolis was standing pretty tall down there, but Brady Weber ends up getting in on a 1 yard QB keeper to make it 21-7. Looking like they're going to run away with it, but Mediapolis answers right back. This time Schmigel breaks free for a 76-yard touchdown on the next on the next drive, first play, to make it 21-14. But from the final score, that was the final time Mediapolis would score. And then I mentioned in the second half, it was pretty much a defensive battle. Aaron Felt got in the end zone one more time before halftime to make it 28-14 on just a 3-yard rush there. So they ended that first half 28-14, and then in the second, Mid-Prairie gave up just 90 yards of offense between the second and third. The third and fourth, can't speak. But Weber scored that final touchdown on another QB keeper to make it to give him 35. So yeah, Mid-Prairie advances. Brady Weber finishes the game with 184 yards. And a passing touchdown. He also rushed for 60 yards and 2 touchdowns. Hudson Ehrenfeld, 137 yards, pair of scores as well. On the receiving end, Caden Koss, 2 catches for 96 yards and a touchdown. Blake Swart, 3 catches for 45 yards. And defensively, Caden Koss, 6.5 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss. And Tatum Telfer had 2 sacks. So Golden Hawks now 7-3, heading to the 2A quarterfinals for the first time since 2008. And they're going to take on probably their toughest test of the season. Actually, their definitely toughest test of the season. Number 2 ranked in 2A, PCM, Prairie City Monroe, on the road. So they're going to be looking to get to the Dome, but got to take care of PCM first.
They sure do. I just realized that Mid-Prairie football is playing the Mustangs, and Mid-Prairie volleyball yesterday was playing the Mustangs.
And they're kind of the same colors.
Yeah, I know.
Like maroon.
Yeah, you were talking about, you saw PC. Did you see PCM last year? Maybe no.
No, I just know. I think I wrote the story on Sigourney Kyoto beating PCM last year, and then we kind of talked about how it's kind of crazy because PCM was like middle of the pack last year kind of team in their district, and then like they put it to like Sigourney Kyoto this year. So they just made like a huge jump, returning a bunch of players, and obviously they got better. And I believe the running back led 2A in rushing last year. I kind of want to go look that up.
I'm looking right now. Right now, he has this year. He has 1,807 yards and 21 touchdowns. That's just on the ground. He's got over 2,000, and if you count his receiving yards.
Oops.
His name is Adrian Robbins, and I'm about to do the preview story for this, so I'll have to learn more about it.
That's their quarterback, isn't it?
No, the quarterback is Gavin Van Gorp, or their leading pass. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Gavin Van Gorp.
Those two were their main two offensive guys last year. And looking at Class 2A, Van Gorp's leading in total touchdowns with 39. He's got 27 passing touchdowns. On the rushing side, Robbins has got 21 rushing touchdowns. Ehrenfeld's actually second in 2A with 26. Receiving touchdowns is a PCM receiver with 12. And Robbins is second in all-purpose yards with 2,364. So, yeah, they got some offensive juggernauts on that team. So that's kind of what Mid-Prairie has to figure out. It's how to stop those guys, because those are the guys that are kind of chunking up yards for them, and why they're 10-0.
Yeah, and these two did play. Mid-Prairie's season came to an end in PCM last year, 36-0 PCM. So some revenge maybe coming for Mid-Prairie. They've obviously got a huge portion of their team back, but PCM has a lot of the kids looking at that box score. Back from last year, too, there was a senior receiver that really burned them. 2 catches for 105 yards last year. Luckily for Mid-Prairie, he has graduated. But we'll see. We'll see if they can take the fight to him. Mid-Prairie hasn't. They've only lost to really good teams close, and they haven't lost in like 2 months. So
right,
we'll see how that works out.
Team, it seems like.
Yeah.
Playoff matchups are just different too.
It is. So you mentioned that, and I'm going to talk about the Waco game. So I was at Waco My voice is almost dead. I was at Waco. I took the lovely drive up to Fort Dodge on Friday morning and then over to Gilbertville for the Waco game later that night. Fort Dodge for cross country, obviously. And if you look at the score between Waco and Don Bosco, it looks like it was just a complete beating on the by the Don Bosco Dons, 48-7. But I'll tell you, the first half of the game was, I'll say that Waco and Don Bosco played about evenly in the first half. And in fact, there were points where I was like, I'm not sure if Don Bosco's offense is going to be able to do much because Waco immediately fumbled the ball. Don Bosco scored. Actually, they got backed up to a 3rd and goal from the 14 and scored on a jump ball. And then Waco fumbled the ball again, but this time it didn't burn them. So they had 2 fumbles immediately. They were down 7-0. But Waco stopped Don Bosco from midfield, got the ball back, and drove the field. And when they were driving the field on this 1 touchdown drive, they ran the ball at will. Whatever they wanted to do running the ball, they could do. Inside, outside, they ended up scoring on a little pitch out to Loudon Housingay, and it tricked the Don Bosco defense. I think Trey Edeker was going, he has those little fullback dives, and he was going up the middle, and they all kind of went to him. And so Loudon could have did cartwheels into the end zone. It was 7-7. Next possession, Mid-Prairie's backed up again, another 3rd and long. And I mean, they were losing yards in more plays than they were gaining yards. The Waco defensive line was all over him. This kid, Kyler Kanak, and his brother was quarterback last year, and now he's the quarterback. Had 3 Waco kids chasing him out of bounds. Like, it was right at me. It was not even to midfield yet, which is 40 in the 8 player. And he fell out of bounds with 3 guys on him and chucked the ball. Woo! With all his strength, and that thing was it fell into the breadbasket of his receiver inside the 5. Like, it was perfectly placed. And that set up a score to go 14-7. Waco looked like they were about to tie it, and on 4th and goal from the 3, they threw one to the back of the end zone. It was Housingate kind of caught it, didn't have his feet in, so they turned it over. And then the big one was another 3rd down, I believe. PCM set up a little screen. Waco defense kind of blew it up. It was at the 25. They kind of blew it up, and the Stevenson's his name, their running back, broke 2 tackles behind the line of scrimmage, and then just darted. And I think he broke 1 more and scored, and that made it. So that was 21-7, and it was like, oh crud! It seems like it's been a very even game, and it's 21-7. But Don Bosco got the ball to start the second quarter and marched right down and made it 28-7. And that was the haymaker. It was the finishing move, the rock bottom, the Hulk Hogan leg drop, and Waco could never really recover from that. So tough one for Waco, and then the offense in the second half couldn't do anything against the Don Bosco defense. Clayton Miller threw for 68 yards. Housingay went for 38 yards and a touchdown rushing the ball, and also had 40 yards receiving, so he had most of the receiving yards. And defensively, Joel Meyer led Waco with 9 tackles. The offense for Don Bosco didn't do crazy, anything too crazy. I think they went, for 375 yards, so I guess that is pretty good for an 8-player team. But I'm very interested to see how Don Bosco does now. They're playing against Iowa Valley this week.
No, Gladbrook
Rhinebeck, who beat Iowa Valley.
Beat Iowa Valley. Yeah.
That's right. And they've played before this year. So we'll see if Don Bosco can get back. I'll tell you what, I'm tired of us always going to Don Bosco. We talked about Assumption last year. We always end up at Don Bosco, too, of all the places in the world.
Yeah, I know.
But I'll be prepared for one of our return trips next year. And then Pekin played at Madrid in the Class A playoffs, and they had I think they had a similar situation because we weren't at this game, but we had people there that were taking pictures and just tweeting us results. And Pekin was down 7-0 with the ball in the second quarter, right?
Yeah, I got the story from the difference of the game is Pekin Pekin had the ball in Madrid territory like 3 straight times to start this game. They ended up losing 33-0, but Madrid struck early, but there's still 11 minutes, just over 11 minutes to go, and they scored on a 50, in the first quarter. So real early, they scored on a 52-yard touchdown, and Pekin followed with a great. They were moving the ball early. They got it all the way down into the Tigers' 3-yard line, ended up turning it over on 4th down. That was kind of the narrative of the game early on, and that was kind of the difference. I think they just ran out of momentum, especially in the second half. But first quarter ended with just 7-0 Madrid. Pekin got another opportunity, put some points on the board, got inside the Madrid 30, but once again, drive ended on a failed 4th down conversion. Madrid turns the ball over on their next drive at their own 32. Pekin gets it, another great shot. End up turning the ball over a 3rd straight time on 4th down, and then from that on, kind of from then on out, it was all Madrid, and it felt like Pekin had to, I guess, just looking at the the tweets and stuff and how this game turned out, but it felt like Pekin needed to take, I guess convert on those opportunities to take advantage, because Madrid's a solid team, but ended up extending that lead to 14-0 on a 30-yard touchdown pass. Pekin got the ball at the half, but didn't have an answer, and Madrid ended up scoring 6 more to make it 20-0 with just under 5 minutes to go in the third. And then on the first play of the fourth quarter, a 29-yard touchdown to make it 27-0. And then obviously they score once more as Pekin's postseason run comes to an end. But a stellar run for the Panthers there. Finished with an 8-2 record. That's the most wins they've put up since the 2017-2018 season. So, and their first playoff win, I'm not sure exactly when, but definitely in some time. So, tough loss for them, but it's kind of sucks because it felt like they should have been in this game a little bit more with just how they were moving. But that's football. Doesn't play your way all the time, and so Panthers fall a little short there.
Yeah, high school football playoffs, that it seems there's a turning point, and it usually doesn't wait till the fourth quarter. Usually, second or third quarter, something happens and one team gets on top, and it's kind of like a I don't even know. I was gonna say a wrestling match, where one person's on their back, and it's hard. I don't know, something about playoff football, hard to get back up, especially in high school. Well, high school playoff football, obviously higher levels, you see comebacks and stuff all the time, but. Mm-hmm. So that's it. We got one team left, Mid-Prairie. Congratulations. Another great season for Waco and Pekin. The Waco seniors have lost 6 games their entire careers.
That's crazy.
They never lost more than 2, including playoffs. They never lost more than 2 times a year. And then Pekin really proved us right this year, because we said at the beginning of the year that was the team that was going to explode, that they were the ones that kind of showed that.
We saw it last year. I think they had like 6 wins last year, but this year they kind of took it to the next level.
Yeah, it was when they almost beat Lisbon last year that we were really like, oh wow, they might be for real. Because in high school sports, you never know, because sometimes teams that are like a fringe playoff team will play against teams that aren't playoff teams, and they'll win by like 60. You'd be like, this team's for real, and then they'll play against one of the big dogs. But yeah, so Friday at 7 is the Mid-Prairie game. You're watching this on Thursday if you're watching the show. The 8-player playoff games start tonight. So anybody wants to drive all the way out to Don Bosco, I guess, to watch 8-man football, they have to do it a day ahead because they play at the Dome on Wednesday. So that's it for football for now. Hopefully we have about 3 more weeks of talking football, because Mid-Prairie is going to put together an unbelievable playoff run. But Golden Hawk fans, good news. We are not even close to done talking about you guys, because Hunter and I were at Xtreme, right?
Xtreme
Arena last night. So when we come back from this commercial, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about state cross country. Stick with us.
At the Capper Auto Group, we put our customers' needs first and understand that everyone is as different as the vehicle they select. We offer new Ford, Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, and Ram vehicles in a friendly environment that puts you in the driver's seat. When it comes to service, we maintain factory-trained technicians and competitive pricing. The Capper Auto Group still believes that service after the sale provides the best customer experience. Come see the Capper experience for yourself.
Introducing Hy-Vee Market Grill, where every meal is a delight. Start your day with our mouthwatering breakfast options and savor flavorful lunches with friends and family. Cap off your day with our delectable dinners. Hy-Vee Market Grill, where every moment is delicious.
The Connie and Amanda team is dedicated to giving back to our community by actively engaging with our clients, businesses, and the public. When it comes to helping you find your next home, investment, or commercial space, the Connie and Amanda team is here for you.
Washington County Hospital and Clinics, providing quality health care that puts you first. Whether during a hospital stay, seeing a primary care provider for wellness exams or sick visits, minor surgery to a total joint replacement, or recovering from an injury, we're here when you need us.
More than you expect for your health care. Washington County Hospital and Clinics.
Attention Hy-Vee shoppers, introducing Hy-Vee Perks, your ticket to exclusive savings and rewards. Access exclusive perks, prices, earn gas discounts, and unlock special deals. All this for free. Join Hy-Vee Perks today and start saving.
At Seafirst Credit Union, we're all about making connections, like how we connect you to that dream vacation with a savings account designed to help get you on the flight there. Connect with Seafirst today and see why together is better.
Celebrate the season at the Mount Pleasant Festival of Lights with over 180 dazzling light displays. It's the perfect holiday tradition for families, friends, and loved ones. Experience the magic from the comfort of your car, and on select nights, bring the kids to meet Santa himself. Don't miss this enchanting event that brings holiday spirit to life. For directions, dates, times, and ticket info, head to oldthreshers.com. The Mount Pleasant Festival of Lights, where holiday magic comes to life.
In the heart of rural Iowa, where community matters most, the connections we make are made to last. Meet KCTC, your hometown internet, phone, and TV provider. At KCTC, we're not just about technology, we're about people. Our dedicated team are your neighbors, committed to bringing you top-tier services right where you live. We believe in giving back to the community that raised us. Experience the power of a real connection with KCTC. Join us in building a stronger, more connected Southeast Iowa.
Hunter, I have hello everyone, welcome back to Southeast Iowa Union Sports Talk Live. Hunter, I got a trivia question for you.
Oh yeah? What's up?
I'm going to show you two pictures of myself, and you show me which one shops at Fairway Food Stores. Ready? Okay. First picture. Now number two.
I think both of them do.
Yeah, that was a trick question, actually. Both of them do, because everyone does. Whether you're a cool sunglasses guy or you need to push up your glasses. I'm self-conscious about having glasses because I don't like pushing them up like that, because the old 90s nerd would always do that. Talking about volleyball, Hunter and I were at Xtreme Arena in Iowa City last night. Great place, right, Hunter?
Awesome environment. Cool place.
Environment.
Cool place to get some photos and watch some volleyball for sure.
Heck yes. Class 3A volleyball tournament. Mid-Prairie was there. They had a tough task with the top-ranked Mount Vernon Mustangs.
Yep.
We were both there, but Hunter, you tell me, give me your thoughts on the game yesterday. 2 days ago through Washington on Thursday.
Yeah, just not even focusing on like how it turned out. I felt like, I think me and you both kind of agreed on this. It was it wasn't even that Mid-Prairie. I mean, they got swept by it was 25-22, 25-16, 25-16. You and I both kind of agreed, and a little bit like Sherry and Zeb talked about, their coaches. It felt like Mid-Prairie played a great game. Like, even despite them getting swept, it just felt like that. Almost that Mount Vernon was just so good. I mean, obviously, the number one ranked team for a reason, and statistically, I mean, they lead the entire state regardless of class. Between 1A and 5A in total kills, assists, and they're pretty much near the top three in pretty much every offensive, I guess, statistical category. They only have 4 losses, 43 wins, and it just felt like Mid-Prairie was kind of just backs against the wall with how well their offense was put together. And Mid-Prairie is one of the best defensive teams, and we saw them. I mean, from my perspective, Mid-Prairie played extremely well defensively with kind of their 2 hitters. Obviously, they have kind of 2 main hitters they like to go to, and they hit it down hard. I mean, one's going to Louisville, play volleyball, and the other's going to Arkansas. So, I mean, they're legit D1 talent hitters. And then a shout out to Dakota Mitchell from Mid-Prairie. She's going D1 as too, Mid-Prairie and Libero. I'm going to North Texas. So 3 D1 athletes on the floor we got to witness there. But, early on, Mid-Prairie was, came out looking real confident. Obviously, they led in all 3 sets, 3-1 in the first and 3-1 in the second as well, 5-4 in the second early. And, set 1 went down to the wire. Mid-Prairie had it was down just 1, 22-21 late. The Mustangs were just a little bit too had a little bit too much firepower late in that one. And then set 2, as I mentioned, they led 3-1 early, and then 5-4. Set 2 was probably, I guess, the shakiest, I would say, like in the later stages of the set. The Mustangs were up 8-6, and they kind of just extended it from then on out, then led 10-6. And, the Mustangs ended up closing that set on a 12-6 run to kind of pull away. And then set 3, I mean, Mid-Prairie, backs against the wall, season on the line early on in that set. That was probably the best volleyball. They had played great volleyball up until that point, but that was probably the time they really put it all together. Ended up jumping out to an 8-2 lead. And then a 9-4 held a 9-4 lead as well. But once again, the Mustang firepower kind of showed up. Mid-Prairie had a 10-5 lead, and after that, things began to shift in or in the Mount Vernon's favor, I should say. But the Mustangs rattled off 8 straight points to jump back in front, 13-10, and really Mid-Prairie could never get back into it. From then on, they ended up getting within 2 points after that, but the Golden Hawks scored just 5 more points the rest of the way, and then the 6-0 run in that kind of span after being 13-10 helped Mount Vernon kind of put the set out of reach, giving them that sweep. But as I mentioned, I thought Mid-Prairie played really well. It just felt like Mount Vernon was so good. It was like, how are we gonna, we can hang around as long as we can, but I don't know, they were just insanely good. But I'll let you speak about run through the stats real quick. Jovi Evans finishes with a stellar performance, 13 kills, 11 assists, 16 digs. Georgia Evans, 18 digs. Dakota Mitchell, 12. Avery Helmuth, 14 assists. Caitlin Harlan ended with 7 kills. And then Callie Huber and Harper Page each had 3 blocks. But Mid-Prairie ends its season 33-9. That's a new school record, obviously beat last year's school record. The trip to state is their first since 2004. They also won the team's first outright River Valley Conference South Championship in 20 years, and it's the first time they've ever won back-to-back conference championships as well. So historic season, record-breaking season for the Golden Hawks, and obviously it just kind of felt like they ran into Goliath in this first round.
Yeah, I will be tuning in to watch Mount Vernon their next 2 to see those 2 having 2 D1 hitters, and those guys. I mean, Mid-Prairie made some, you said it, ridiculous digs and scrambles, and then it was and if they would have taken that first set, Mid-Prairie had a legitimate shot in the first set.
Yeah.
It was right down to the wire. It kind of reminded me of Washington played at Assumption. I think I talked about it last week or the week before, where the first set was so close, And then like midway through the second set, you kind of blinked and you're like, oh crud, they're down like 6-7 points now. And then obviously going down 2-0. I'm not sure if you mentioned it. You mentioned they were up 8-2 in that third set.
Yep.
Yeah. And so they had shots, but Mount Vernon is very, 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 very good. So I'll be interested to see if anyone can. Mid-Prairie has good blockers and great defense, and I don't know how who can stop a girl that's jumping. She looked like she can do a 360 dunk with the hops that Maui, that number 9, and she's lefty, and even when the set wasn't great and she had to hit it with the right hand, there was some power behind it. So
and it's kind of cool too because the Evanses have who the coaches of Mid-Prairie, Sherry and have connections. They coach AAU, so and a lot of those girls from Mount Vernon play on the team that they coach. So it's kind of cool. It was kind of cool they have a little connection there, and hearing them talk about it was afterwards was kind of an interesting little side story there. That was kind of cool though.
Yeah. So speaking of the digs, after the game, Jovi Evans said she was talking about how good their hitters were, and she's like, yeah, we got down and we would just dig the living crap out of those.
I used that quote in the story.
Oh, did you? Nice.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, they did. There were some that was like, oh my gosh. And Mid-Prairie crowd is great. It was a great environment. Not much else to say. And Mid-Prairie, speaking of records and all that stuff, it was just like 5 years ago. I remember like 5 years ago, when I'd say we have to get to the game when Mid-Prairie plays Washington in volleyball, because that's going to be the only one where we can see one of those two teams win, because they were both so low on the standings and the rankings, and they just every year started jumping up.
Now they're at the top of their perfection.
And now they're at the top. And the game, they got swept, but it wasn't. Sometimes when it's a number 1 seed against number 8 seed in the state tournament, it'll be like the top ranked team against some unranked team that barely got in. But Mid-Prairie was the top 8 teams got in, so you could see that they were, they did have a puncher's chance, that they were up for the task. As opposed, it wasn't like a squash game like sometimes number 1 seeds, especially that could have. So I'm gonna watch. Oh, I think they play today at 2:00. Well, not today because they're talking. These guys are watching on Thursday, but I'm gonna time travel back to yesterday because the day we're recording this Wednesday, I think they play today at 2:00. So let's see. I'm excited to see how they do.
Yep.
Let's talk a little cross country, Hunter.
Yeah, you got some big news on that.
Yeah, I alluded to this earlier. So I was there for the first day. It was a 2-day cross country meet, but I'm just going to go through all of our area results for the 2024 state cross country meet, and the biggest one is the rise, not really a rise from the ashes, but a rise from not winning state last year to again winning state for the Mid-Prairie girls cross country team. Golden Hawks, a very young team, came into this year, I think 14th ranked, not even, not close to one of the favorites to win the Class 3A state meet. Now, that's a little deceiving because we knew that last year their middle school team was awesome, and that they'd have 8th graders coming up, and the statewide rankers don't necessarily know the extent of that. But in the Class 2A girls meet, the Mid-Prairie Golden Hawks score 84 points, 8 better than Unity Christian Orange City that scored 92. Mid-Prairie came in; they had risen in the ranks. They were already number 2 ranked. Unity Christian was number 3, and then the top seed, the top ranked team at the time, Van Meter, took 3rd with 114. Mid-Prairie had 3 girls in the top 15. Brooklyn Stutzman, who has been the leader of this team all year, only a sophomore. She gets 8th, 19 minutes, 20.6 seconds. Rachel Hostetler, the latest in the Hostetler cross-country dynasty. She gets 14th, and Kendall Landstrom 15th, and they were less than a second behind each other. So 3 girls on the podium, which, 3 girls that are a sophomore, a freshman, and another sophomore. So not only was this huge for Mid-Prairie as a team for this year, but also, Tessa Brokaw got 29th. That's a freshman. the Golden Hawks have all sorts of a future. They only had one senior, Dessa Pohl, who did score. She got 73rd. And which she need. I mean, in state cross country, that's a few seconds can be the difference between a lot of points because all those kids are running close together. So congratulations, Mid-Prairie Golden Hawk girls cross country. They're state champions again, 6th time in the last 8 years. Last year was the only time in forever that Mid-Prairie didn't win an individual title. I remember Danielle Hostetler was going for her 4th last year, didn't quite get it individually. And they didn't win a state title. So it was the first time they didn't get first in something in like a decade, and they're right back. Coach Mark Hostetler not only wins another cross-country title as a coach, but now he's had 4 daughters win state cross-country titles. So all of his kids are, the trophy case keeps going up. Huge. I mean, and that was not, again, that's not just a this year thing. When you have that young of girls and you already jump up to the top, Mid-Prairie looks to have just reloaded into part 2 or part like 100 of their cross-country dynasty.
I mean, that's one of the craziest, most dominant years that I've seen from a sport, for sure. Like looking at them, because I mean, it just never seems to end. It's like, usually you have a fall off like every 4 or 5 years, but I mean, to go, would you say what they're 6 in the last? What is it, 7 or how in the last?
6 of the last 8.
See, that's crazy.
That is crazy. And it's crazy. I mean, they literally lost to graduation, one of the best runners that the state's ever seen, and then they improved as a team just by there's so many freshmen. I said I remember when I watched their middle school team a couple of years ago for the first time, and like 7 of them came across way before every other girl. And I was like, oh my gosh, these kids are something else. And now they're in high school doing it. So congratulations to the Mid-Prairie girls. And then the Mid-Prairie boys, they came in ranked number 2. They did get second, 128 points. O-line gets 113. So it was kind of a 2-team race in that respect. They beat the 3rd place team, Unity Christian, by 24. So they had a little bit of space on him. Emmett Swartzentruber, who had the big upset state championship last year, comes in 4th. The 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place runners were separated by 1.1 seconds. So they all came in together. The winner was Grundy Center's Emerson Volks, and he did win by 18 seconds. So he had a little bit of space on him, but we talked about Mid-Prairie girls having 3 on the podium. Mid-Prairie boys have 2 on the podium. Preston Yitzi, his senior year, his last time running, he ends up on the podium in 14th. Jace Yoder gets 21st. So there's 3 in the top 25 for the Mid-Prairie boys. Max Swartzentruber got 68th. And then let's see if we got any more in the top 100. Thomas Flynn was 93rd. So Flynn is another senior. So they will lose a couple seniors to this team and add 3 because Emmett Swartzentruber was a senior this year as well. So 2nd place, we'll see how they can keep that tradition going for the boys team. But first in girls, 2nd in boys. They're in the state football playoffs, the quarterfinals, and they went to the state volleyball tournament.
Yep. What a time to be a Mid-Prairie fan.
What a time to be a Mid-Prairie fan.
And they're probably going to be good in basketball, too.
Yeah, they will be good. They'll be pretty good in boys basketball. They'll be good in track, obviously.
Yeah.
They're good in softball and baseball. It's a good time. Yeah. Shout out to athletic director Pete Cavanaugh. They might be the most successful school that there is in the state as far as just every sport being good.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. No, they usually have 1 or 2 at least at state wrestling. That girls wrestling, they have like 30 girls. Yeah. We go out for that. So yeah, great job, Mid-Prairie. Those weren't our only runners though. We'll go quickly. I'm going to jump back to Friday. The 3A, we did have 2 Washington teams in it. Washington boys and Washington girls there for the first time ever together. Boys, 7th place, girls, 12th place. So both teams probably did better than they were supposed to. We'll start with the girls race because that was first. Nobody on the podium for the Washington girls, but they were led by Ira Stahl, who got 32nd. She's a junior, and then a lot of their seniors. They have a senior-led team this year, and just like at qualifying, I thought the seniors really showed out here. Kendall Hendrickson went 74th, Lauren Horak 79th, Olivia Anderson was 94th, all in the top 100 there. And then wait a minute. Oh no, I didn't miss one. I think we have a Quincy Griffiths, I believe, got 130. Quincy Griffiths got 109th. I knew it was something close to that, so just missed out on the top 100 there. A lot of seniors on that team. I think 4 out of the 7, but 12th, not too bad when they weren't even supposed to qualify coming into it. And then Mount Pleasant's Quintree Lee gets. She had a meteoric rise in the last month or so. 63rd as a freshman. Big result from her. She was not only the second one of our girls, our Union girls, but she was actually the third Southeast Conference girl in the race right outside of. She just lost to Avery Rumpf Fort Madison by a few seconds there. So she's really positioning herself. All 3 of those top girls in the SEC are coming back. Rump, Dahl, and Lee. So that we should have a really good year. And then we know that we've got some stud 8th graders. Fedler of Mount Pleasant was the state champion in 8th grade. So we're going to have some. We're going to be going to Fort Dodge again next year. I'll just go ahead and say that.
Spoiler alert.
And then the boys. Washington gets 7th as a team. Andrew Reese, 13th. He makes the podium for the first time ever. His brother, obviously, Micah, did it a couple of different times. Andrew ran by me right before the hill in 17th, passed 4 kids down the stretch. His final time was 16 minutes, 20.8 seconds. That was huge. That was huge for the team to get 7th. Tyler Alderton, a senior, gets 28th. So 2 demons in the top 30. Sawyer Shantz got 41st, so 3 in the top 45. That's a huge reason why they were able to get a 7th place. And then down the list a little bit here, I thought I was doing something by being able to scroll down slowly and pick up all these names. But now I'm just talking to talk, and then see what happens as I talk, and then you don't realize that. There we go. Ethan Hotchkiss, 104th, just outside of the top 100. Then Parker Shantz was their last. Score 107th. So cool results for the Washington boys in 3A. They'll have a lot of talent coming back, but they do lose a couple seniors from that. In fact, Alderton's been a multi-time state competitor. That's a big loss for them. But again, the boys 7th place. I think they came in ranked. They did better in both than they were supposed to team wise. And then Lee of Mount Pleasant did better than I think she should be. She was going to individual wise. So some positives there. That was Friday morning. And then along with the 2A stuff on Saturday, we had 1A girls and 1A boys. And Pekin's Chloe Glosser, 3rd place overall, and Hillcrest Marie Yoder, 9th place overall. So or 8th place overall, sorry. So 2 in the top 8 from our Union area. That's a junior and a sophomore. So those are two girls that will be competing again next year. Have been 1-2 in all the small school races basically all year. So big finish for both of those girls. And then Sienna Stannerson for another Hillcrest kid, another junior, 32nd. So 3 of our Class 1A girls were in the top 35 in that 1A race. We had a couple teams in the 1A boys race, and nobody got top 10 for teams. Columbus and Van Buren separated by 9 points. Columbus boys get 277 for 12th. Van Buren County 286 for 13th. And then individually in 1A, our top runner, another podium stander, Colby Newsom of Winfield Mount Union, who didn't even win the conference meet the other day, and comes out, didn't win the state qualifier, comes out on the big stage in Fort Dodge, and he was our top 1A boys runner, beating a lot of those kids that he's ran against all year. 9th place his senior year. So really awesome finish for him. I think he overperformed the last year too. So really cool for Colby Newsom, 16 minutes, 29.4 seconds. Waco's Jude Dykstra just off the top 15. He got 19th. He was about 11 seconds away from the podium. Van Buren County's, Ty Muniz of Columbus got 25th. Van Buren County's Lincoln Bainbridge got 27th. Let's see. And then we had a couple more in the top here. Cole Milliken of Pekin got 57th. Basically, a good day for a lot of our runners. A lot of our runners overperformed. So good.
Yeah, I was just going to say it's becoming a custom that we have a lot of success from our area down here at the state cross country meet. So it's kind of no surprise because a lot of those names, kind of showed out last year, and you kind of had an idea that they were going to be up there again. And hey, they didn't disappoint. And a lot of them did even better than, as you mentioned, as they were supposed to. And it's going to be the same as you've already said it as well. It's going to be a reiteration probably next year of maybe even more talent up there representing. So kudos to all the kids as always show out running.
Yeah, we by the way, just another area like not union coverage because we don't cover Danville, but Jackson Shacklet of Danville got 13th. Those like 5-6 kids in 1A in the Super Conference, they raced against each other so much this year, and they mixed up. You never knew who was going to win out of those. I remember how fun the boys race was at the Super Conference because it was like all these kids are real, competitors. They have a real chance. It was a great race. So you hardly find them finishing in the same order. That's Newsom and Shacklet and Dykstra and Muniz and Bainbridge. They all kind of were, and I mean all 5 of those kids got top 27. So cool for our area, and run.
Yes, sir. Run. I can't run. I mean, I can run, but I don't like to run. But
I don't like to run. I got beat by my dog in a 5K one time. And I got beat by my unborn child. I've gotten beat by a dog and an unborn child in 5Ks.
Are you saying that your wife was running and beat you?
Yep, wife was running with the dog the first time, and the second time she's pregnant.
Oh, my.
I don't think my youngest has beat me. I think just the 6-year-old. I don't think she's beat me while she was pregnant with the youngest, so maybe I need to go.
You still got a 1-up-on-1.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what, in a 100-meter dash, put myself against anybody except my dog. He could still beat me in the 100-meter dash.
Yeah.
Did you beat both your dogs in the 100-meter dash?
No shot.
3rd place?
For sure.
It's tough. I think that's all we got for Southeast Iowa Union Prep Sports Plus.
That is all we got.
Man, we're almost running out of teams. There's only one more fall sports team. Are we just going to go on like a hiatus on this show because we've only got one team left?
I don't know. We might have to at least put something. I don't know if you want to put something out just on I don't know if you guys talked about the scoreboard, but if you want to do something with that and just mention it on there, or we can just roll with the show and do a little preview of the winter sports or something. I don't care.
I was lobbing that up to you, alley-oop style, so you could say, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to be here next week, just like always.
I basically did.
Basically.
Actually, I kind of threw it back to you.
Yeah, you kind of did the thing where you run under it. You kind of do the thing where you run under the ball and I throw you an alley-oop and you just look at it and you're like. Love when that happens. That's it for
We'll be back next week.
We will be back next week. Bet your bottom dollar on it. And We'll talk football. We'll talk all sorts of stuff.
We'll see you next week.